Hi, I'm Mike, and we are going to be working on canned Hasenpfeffer. Now, Hasenpfeffer, as I understand it, is German for braised rabbit. The problem is, when you're canning, you're not braising. Braising is cooking it in a liquid, a braising liquid, and slowly so that the flavor and tenderness develops. So the object with canning is to create a method in which at the end result is the same as Hasenpfeffer with the same great taste. And what basically it's the first step is a marinade, and the marinade is white wine, onions, and garlic with spices. So it hangs out and soaks. The rabbit hangs out and soaks for 2 days in a marinade, and then the marinade is the rabbit is cooked or browned. In our case, we're going to do it on a grill to brown the meat. So our star ingredient is rabbit, and these bit of a problem. I ordered 3 and received 2. So the third one is supposed to be catching up today or tomorrow, and I'll put that with the marinade. And you'd think that that's the rabbit's head. That's actually the rabbit's hind. So we're going to soak them whole. Then we're going to break the rabbit down into cuts to put on the grill. So you'll have the rib meat and the front leg, the back leg, and then the tenderloin, the back and tenderloin. That'll be brown, then it'll be deboned, and all the bones will work on making a stock. And for the recipe, the rabbits are 3 pounds. They are not cheap. They're about $56 per rabbit, plus shipping, which it's overnighted, so not cheap either. And the recipe we're using is Linda Baker, and it was it was published on the internet in December of 2013 and modified October 26, 2022. And we're going to make some changes. She calls for chicken stock. We're going to make a stock out of the rabbit, which is, I expect to be about the same. So we're off to our main ingredients. Now the recipe calls for 2.5 cups of onions per rabbit. The recipe calls for 2.5 cups of onions per rabbit. And we are going to do it by weight, essentially. We have some yellow onions, which I bought for another project. And we're also supplementing with white onion. 2 cups of onions measure out for to 1/2 pound of uncut onion. The recipe calls for 2.5 cups of onions, and it's generally 1/2 pound of for two cups. So with 2 rabbits, we're going to go with 2.5 pounds of onions. And we're also going to be measuring out our garlic, because the garlic cloves are fairly large. We're going to measure Our garlic cloves are fairly large, so I'm going to find one that I consider a normal garlic clove and weigh it. 125. So a garlic clove weighs 1/8 of an ounce, and then we're going to multiply it by 24. Okay, now we got our garlic measured out and peeled. Next step is to give it a chop. We're going with 2 ounces. It's about 18 cloves, so some of the cloves are larger, but it all adds up to what in my mind is 12 cloves for each rabbit. The garlic is all sliced up and ready for the brine. And the next step is the star of the show, the rabbit, once I clean the cutting board. Considering, oh, we got to remove the kidneys. Kidneys were left in. And we got the heart and the liver. So we're going to weigh them. Rabbit 1 is 2.975. I don't think this one has a heart. Okay, and without the meat, 2.775. Now, since we're going to save the kidneys and the liver, we're just going to package them up individually. I'm thinking that is a heart. Now, what I plan to do is I'm going to make a spread with the livers, and the kidneys I'm going to fry up like liver and onions. Probably a lot of onions. And the heart goes into a stock. I never realized how small a rabbit's heart is. Let's just do a cut. Yeah, that's a heart. So then what we're going to do is he goes directly in the marinating container. Rabbit number 2. Overall weight, 2.895. Here's the heart. Well, I don't like the color of that liver. But there is a variance with livers, and there's no signs of disease. So we're going to keep it, and that goes into a recipe. And we remove our kidneys. Okay, our kidneys. Now, we're just going to weigh the bag. I'm working off of 2 scales. So the heart is 0.2 ounces. Liver is 3.5 ounces. And the kidneys, 1.5 ounce. Now we're ready to put the spices in. So with the peppercorns, it calls for a total of 20 to 24 peppercorns, and I went with 15 from Winter Estates, which is they actually let the berry ripen on the vine, then pick it and dry it. And the other one is called Telecherry. It has a much bolder flavor with a little bit of bite. Now for the bay leaves, we're using McCormick's, just the regular variety. And it calls for 2 bay leaves per rabbit. So the other one is a lot lighter flavored. They're Turkish bay leaves, a lot more expensive. So then we crush it and put it in the mixture. There's the rabbit in the briner. And what we do now is we seal it. And that way it'll help keep the rabbit submerged. Okay, the briner is now in the fridge. It'll stay here for 2 days. Cough button. Right now it is Thursday noon. And what I'll do is every 12 hours I'll turn over the rabbit and remix. But for the time being, it gets closed and it stays in its own little dedicated refrigerator.